Welcome back to Thaumcraft Quick. In this episode, we'll be discussing Essentia tubing. In the Thaumonomicon, on the Alchemy tab, just past Essentia distillation, is Essentia tubing, transportation of Essentia. It's one of the ways you can move Essentia around. So, to make Essentia tubes, we need some quicksilver drops, some glass, iron ingots, and some gold nuggets, and an arcane workbench. To get quicksilver drops, we need quicksilver, which you can get by smelting cinnabar ore. If you put quicksilver in a crafting table, you get 9 quicksilver drops. It's kind of like nuggets and ingots. Alright, so I have all that. So quicksilver drops on top, iron ingots on the side, glass, and nuggets, and this will give us Essentia tubes. Alright, let's scan that real quick. Can't scan Essentia tubes. Alright. So, in addition to tubes, we also need Essentia valves to close off the tubes. You can't have two kinds of Essentia traveling through your pipes. If you do, you get an Essentia conflict and the pipes stop working. So, valves are on the next page. It's just a tube and a lever and an arcane workbench with some aqua and ordo. So, I'm going to make half of these into valves. Alright, so now I've got 16 tubes and 16 valves. The last thing we're going to make is an Essentia Resonator. This will help you troubleshoot your system and show you what the tubing network is trying to do. So, a stick, some nether quartz, and some iron will get us one of those. So, stick, nether quartz, iron, gets us an Essentia Resonator. So let's see if we can scan that. Yes, alright, what about the valves? Odd we can scan valves but not tubes, but alright. So let's see about moving some stuff around. So the first thing we need to do is make sure there are no conflicts in our system. We can't put tubes right next to each other or the Essentia would flow out and we'd get a conflict. So what we need first is some dirt to stand on. Only thing I miss about IC2 is those scaffolding they have. So we're going to use Essentia valves instead. You just place them right next to the machines and they'll connect. With an empty hand, you can right click to open and close the valves. They start out open, we want them closed. Alright, now we can't have any conflicts in our system because all our valves are closed. So next, we'll put tubes next to them so that they can flow to these jars over here. But again, we can't put tubes right here in front of the jars because then we'd get a conflict coming in. We need a valve on top of every jar. So I'll see how many I can put on here. Looks like that's it for now. So now we just add our Essentia tubes. And it looks like I didn't close a valve. We do have a conflict already. I'm missing one. And you can see there's conflicts by this stuff coming out right here. So we need to close our valves off. And that should fix all of our conflicts. Alright. So if we take our Essentia Resonator, we can see what's happening. Suction 23 untyped. The amount of suction is how much it's pulling for at that place in the network. Untyped means it's not pulling for anything. So, we've closed off our system. Everything should be fine now. You can make it pull for something by opening a jar. So now we should be pulling for Praecantatio. And the suction is stronger because our label on the jar, the jar is labeled. Alright, so that's the basics. Make sure you've got valves there. Make sure you close off your stuff. Like I didn't close that valve, so we've got a conflict there. You don't want to have any open jars except for one at a time. Alright, so that's the basics of Essentia tubing. See you next time.